some of the decisions.
The President does not have authority under the Constitution to initiate changes to the Constitution, and that a constitutional amendment can only be initiated by Parliament through a parliamentary initiative and Article 256, or through a popular initiative and Article 257 of the Constitution.
Thursday landmark ruling by the 5 High Court judge bench of Justice Joel Ngugi, George Odunga, Jairus Nga, Teresia Matheka and Chacha Mwita had declared that the BBI initiative as unconstitutional, a verdict that has drawn mixed reactions. Deputy President William Ruto in a tweet said, and I quote, "Our democracy is anchored on the rule of law, constitutionalism, separation of power and respect for independent institutions. All patriotic citizens must defend these tenets just like judiciary did." Now let's focus on COVID vaccination, economic recovery, the Big Four, and stay united. End of quote. Speaking in Narok, Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi weighed in on the matter, saying some of the decisions by the judges were political. He added that the head of state had good plans for the country.
Hata tu wakitoa uamuzi ni lazima watoe wakifikiria mambo ya public interest. Na mimi si kusoma uamuzi huo wote, lakini pahali kidogo nilipoona hapa na pale kuna yale ya kisheria, lakini kuna mengine yalikuwa kama ni siasa inachezwa.
Law Society of Kenya President Nelson Havi declined requests from journalists to comment on the matter, saying the court had issued its decision. Former Senate Majority Leader Kipchumba Murkomen also welcomed the decision by the High Court, saying the petitioners had a place in history. In Baringo County, police had to lobby tear gas canisters to disperse members of County Assembly and residents who were celebrating the ruling outside the County Assembly.
Nataka nipongeza majudges kwa kusimama na Wakenya. Tumetambua kwamba kumbe kutuko na wanaume katika Kenya hii, wale ambao wanasimamia haki. Tulitoa mwelekeo. Mnakumbuka Baringo siku ile tulifanya maandamano hapa, na tunasema reggae must stop. Reggae ilisimama, haikusimama.
In Murang'a County, a section of residents on Friday took to the streets of the town to celebrate the court's ruling, noting that the country had more pressing challenges which needed to be given priority.
Hakuna vile tunaweza abiwa tupitisha kitu hatujui na ni yakuja itunyanyasa tuongezewe taxes.
Wakisema wenye walikuwa wanavote no, ni kwamba priorities zilikuwa ni COVID kwanza, na tunaelekea watu wako na njaa. Kwa hivyo watu wa Murang'a wameshukuru sana.
For Channel 1 News, I'm Ben Njue. And still on the BBI, the High Court decision to declare the Building Bridges Initiative Bill unconstitutional has complicated the possibility of the country holding a referendum 12 months before the national polls as required by law. According to law experts, should the state appeal the High Court decision, the process of appeal will likely take time, and the parties are subsequently likely to land at the Supreme Court. Our reporter Ben Njue highlights the impact of the High Court ruling on the BBI process and what next for the promoters of the BBI initiative.
Days before former Chief Justice David Maraga proceeded on retirement, he constituted a 5-judge bench to hear and determine 8 consolidated petitions challenging the BBI referendum. And 5 months later, the 5-judge bench, led by Justice Joel Ngugi, will deliver hard-hitting rulings that has shaken and altered the entire BBI process.
The Constitution Amendment Bill 2020, which was developed by the BBI Steering Committee and is being promoted by the BBI Secretariat, is an initiative of the President. The President does not have constitutional mandate to initiate constitutional amendments through popular initiative and Article 257 of the Constitution.
We expected a win, but not of this magnitude. We did not expect that the judges will give us 100% acceptance of our petitions. So it came as a bit of a shock, but a good one.
Constitutional lawyer Elias Mutuma, who represented the Third Way Alliance party in the case, says the judgment has greatly dismantled both the process and the contents of the BBI.
One word, BBI is dead because the court has pronounced it as dead, actually certified BBI as dead. In fact, not even dead, I would say stillborn, because they said from the very beginning, from inception, from the collection of signatures, from the debates to the county assemblies, debates to the National Assembly, the manner in which the president, established BBI task force to the secretariat, it was all flawed.
According to law experts, the law, however, provides a recourse for the promoters of the BBI initiative, despite having been dealt a blow by the High Court ruling.
There's only one option available to them, that is to appeal to the Court of Appeal, and they would be lucky if the Court of Appeal is to accept their appeal. Why am I saying that? Out of the 26 issues that were held by the 5-judge bench, all of them succeeded. I mean, I do not see the Court of Appeal departing from the judgment of the 5-judge bench because it was a well-thought decision.
Even if the higher court overturns the decision of the High Court, legal experts argue the process of appeal will likely take time, consequently complicating the possibility of the country holding a referendum 12 months before the 2022 general elections as required by law.
They have preferred to appeal. Should they win, we as the petitioners definitely are going to appeal to the Supreme Court. And should they lose, I do not see them just settling and agreeing that the Court of Appeal is the final arbiter. They will still go to the Supreme Court.
There's a possibility that this matter moves to the Apex Court. The Supreme Court has no issues as to quorum, as any odd numbers may listen to the issue, but it would be prudent for such a great matter of public importance and wait to be determined by the whole Supreme Court bench.
It has taken us at least 5 months to come up with a judgment, and it was very commendable of the judges to even expedite the process. The Court of Appeal process is not any simpler. We do not have any shorter time limit. We cannot have a judgment from the Court of Appeal in less than 2 or 3 months from now. So that takes us to where? Almost in August, and from there we move to the Supreme Court. It means that the least we can have a final arbitration of this matter, if we were to proceed all the way to the Supreme Court, will be any time past October. By that time, in my view, it would be too late to even conduct a referendum.
In a 5-hour judgment that dealt with over 20 issues of law, the 5 judges arrived at the decision that the current Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, is not properly constituted. Experts argue that the finding put the fate of several by-elections conducted by the Commission in the balance should they be challenged in court.
That means that any business that they conducted in the last few years after the resignation of the other 3 commissioners, that decision in itself is questionable. So it would mean that those by-elections are questionable. As to the other by-elections that are still pending, I would even doubt, because you see, a permanent injunction was issued to proceed. So IBC cannot even purport to proceed with any business until it is properly constituted.
But even as the verdict continues to elicit mixed reactions, the High Court has put a stronger marker as a progressive and transformative court. Ben Njue, reporting for Channel 1 News.
Elsewhere, President Uhuru Kenyatta has appointed Justice William Ouko as a Supreme Court judge weeks after the Judicial Service Commission nominated him for the job. The announcement was made via a Gazette notice dated May 13, 2021. Justice Ouko had interviewed for both Chief Justice and for Supreme Court judge positions. He will replace retired Justice Professor Jackton Ojwang at the Supreme Court, which is now well constituted with 7 judges. And prior to the appointment, Justice Ouko was president of the Court of Appeal. You are watching Channel 1 Weekend at about 10 minutes past the hour. When we come back after taking a short break, we will be delving much deeper into the judgment that has raised a lot of air and a lot of questions and a lot of anything that has been done since yesterday has since been questioned by a lot of people. Of course, some welcoming and others castigating that. I'll be joined by constitutional lawyer Steve Mogaka and governance and leadership expert Job Ndege. But before then, Brian Kusei, you are watching us from Bungoma, Bumula constituency. Eriko Petro, you're watching live from Ndiwa sub-county in Homa Bay. Samson Nyandoro, you're watching from Migori County. Keep them coming. I will be sampling more of this when we come back. Let's have that quick break.
Did you know life is uncertain? Do not leave anything to chance. Protect the financial needs of your family in case you die or lose income due to terminal or critical illness. Take up a life insurance policy today to protect the financial future of your loved ones. Now you know. IRA, promoting insurance, protecting the insured.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye QuickBin ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM, ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitizama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353, alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka, kwenye QuickBin ni bidhaa bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini kwa chini.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Juma hili kwenye Mkulima tutajumuika naye rafiki wa binadamu na kujifunza mawili matatu.
Kununua umbwa si shida, lakini ukiwa naye ndio sasa utajua kazi wafaa kupitia. Kwanza wakiwa kati ya miezi 3 na miezi 6. Kama ni dogi wa nje itakuwa rahisi kwako, kama ni dogi wa ndani itakuwa ngumu sana kwako.
Basi usikose kujiunga nasi Jumapili saa 9:30 hapa KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back. This is Channel 1 Weekend, and yesterday the High Court did talk about the BBI Amendment Bill, or the whole process being unconstitutional, and of course gave 15 orders in the same regard. And joining me now in studio, two gentlemen, a very formidable tag team, to help us delve much deeper to know what next for the BBI proponents. And on my immediate left, we have constitutional lawyer Steve Mogaka. Welcome.
Good evening, viewers.
And on my extreme left, we have Job Ndege, a leadership and governance expert. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure having you on board. Perhaps
Thank you, Ben.
Like 30 seconds. What do you make of the gazettement that was done today? Perhaps people were expected next week, remembering that Justice Ouko is the president of the Court of Appeal, and I'm quite sure, if you ask me, is that from Monday we are going to be seeing a lot of traffic at the Court of Appeal. Ndege?
Yes, I think first of all, he was a good choice. Yeah, if you looked at the interviews, amongst the top 3 will be Justice Ouko, lawyer Fred Ngatia, and Justice Martha Koome, in whichever order that one will want to take. So given that 2 of them have moved up to the Supreme Court, then that's good. Secondly, there has been a lot of rumors going around that the Court of Appeal has 8 judges. They don't have 8 judges. They're about 18, in fact. So work will still go on, though they're really stretched. Remember that about 11 of the 40 that the President has yet to assent to was supposed to be earmarked for the Court of Appeal. So they are really stretched, and with the departure of the 2 to the Supreme Court, if nothing happens very quickly, as per that list that the President still holds, then they'll be even further stretched. and that will derail justice.
Council.
Thank you. First say Ramadan Kareem to our Muslim brothers. And secondly, I want to congratulate Lord Justice William Ouko for being gazetted as now doubtlessly a Supreme Court judge. And on behalf of the alumni of Kagumo High School, and particularly Muhoya House, where we resided with...
you were in school together?
You've had it.
Yes.
William Ouko has made us proud, and we wish him very well out there. And regarding the status of the Court of Appeal at the moment, there is quorum. And even if President William Ouko has gone to the Supreme Court, the presidency of the Court of Appeal is in very able hands of the acting president of the Court of Appeal, and we expect that they will rise up to the occasion.
And still on the same council, yesterday the High Court did even, of course it poked holes on the whole process. The 5 judges unanimously agreeing that this whole exercise is unconstitutional. Giving even 15 orders. The AG is supposed to be the advisor, the chief advisor of the government. And of course, a lot of people are asking where was the Attorney General when all these things were being done, and he would perhaps have offered a better advice.
If I can take that one, indeed, the Attorney General is the principal advisor to the President and government. And the Attorney General is as well the custodian of public interest. And any litigation touching on the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya will obviously have the Attorney General as a party, of course, representing 1, the government, and 2, public interest. And the questions that were brought to the High Court for interpretation are novel, because remember, this is the first time we are conducting an amendment of the 2010 Constitution. So it's a learning exercise for all of us. Let us not judge anybody very harshly, because everybody is dealing with this first baby for the first time. And whatever advice the Attorney General has been giving, remember, this has been a popular initiative, and really, contrary to what is being propagated, this is not a government project. This is a popular initiative, and therefore, the Attorney General was really not having a very active role in dealing with any advice relating to this matter. And be it as it may, the High Court has pronounced itself on what the petitioners presented to them, and based on the evidence that was presented to the High Court, and they have rendered their duty in accordance with the Constitution as it is today. But I say, let's not have anybody open champagne bottles, because the journey of, if I can call it reggae, has now moved to the court corridors, and we want to see how it progresses until the apex court pronounces itself. Ultimately, it is no time yet to know which way BBI.
Indeed, of Council is talking about it was only a pit stop for the BBI reggae train. But Ndege, some of the things that were brought about in the court during the argument, and of course in the 15 orders that were given by the High Court, they talked about the president cannot initiate a popular initiative, but someone can argue in court that the president is still a Kenyan.
Yes, in fact, it's very interesting. The bench was good. Had some of the brilliant minds we have in the High Court. The judgment, it was an academic judgment, I'll give them an A+. But the reality is that it was not academics. We are in a situation where some Kenyans actually wanted to have the constitution changed. So you suppose that with that, you find that in some cases, I feel the judges overreached themselves. In some cases, they made interpretation of the law as it is, and law can be interpreted in several ways. So if someone is dissatisfied, then they have the option of appeal, which the BBI steering committee and the promoters have actually said they are going to appeal it. So I'll summarize that some of the rules, like for instance, the president cannot initiate a popular initiative. That's not clearly stated in law. And to the best of my knowledge, a judge or a magistrate or a judicial is supposed to read the law as it is written. They're not supposed to write law. The legislature is supposed to write law. So if there is a lacuna, they should be advising the people concerned to go and write this law. But I saw them going deep into matters which are not clearly stated in law and giving their opinion, which I don't think in our jurisprudence that opinion needs to be given. They are supposed to have no eyes, just listen to what the people who are in front of them argue, and then they make determination based on what is written. So in that case, I feel like they overreach themselves. In some other cases, like I say, they interpreted the law, which is okay, but it can be interpreted in either way, which is appealable. So what I see is that the matter of the president, for instance, not being able to initiate a popular initiative, that one is contestable. Yeah, because the president is a Kenyan. He's not stopped from doing things that Kenyans do. There's no written that if you become a president, you stop being a Kenyan. And anybody in government, for that matter, who does not have that legislative authority, like an MP, really only has one route, which is the popular initiative. So he took it. And if you see how the president actually got into this thing, it was like it was him who was really pushing this thing. The president acted under Article 131(2) in an event, in an attempt to actually bring unity to the nation when we had problems in 2017. People are forgetting very fast that we had a lot of trouble in 2017. And the president, in his exercising authority, which is constitutional, decided to have a handshake with the prime minister. And it was that handshake where they identified 9 issues that has been causing problems, why we keep on fighting every 5 years. And then they formed that task force. And then people also forget that someone actually went to court to challenge the task force earlier on in its inception. I remember. And Justice Mativo said that this task force is legal and it's lawful. So it's very strange.
The same court.
The same court, the same high court.
Yes.
So it's very strange that 5 of his colleagues now turn around 2 years later to say that it is not legal. In fact, and Wakili here may even advise us, if a high court has already determined something, I was expecting the 5 to have said this has been determined. You people can have a recourse to appeal, rather than also delve into a matter which has already been determined.
Indeed.
So there were a lot of issues.
And indeed, still on the same council, what Ndege is talking about, of course, the popular initiative is Article 257, but I want you to rope in that with Article 256, which talk about, of course, the parliament way. Kindly touch on that, then you tell us what it would take, because we have very tight timelines if we have to actualize the BBI.
Yes, if I may, just to add on what my friend has said, the court turned in a finding that this BBI was initiated by the president. I don't know what evidence was tabled before them to turn in that finding. But even if it were, the alternative for a popular initiative is a parliamentary initiative. Our president is not a parliamentarian and therefore cannot use the parliamentary initiative as a way of initiating a constitutional amendment. So then, are we saying we must deprive our president of his right as a citizen to also do that initiative? Further to that, apart from the question of the court, same court, High Court, having pronounced itself, courtesy Justice Mativo, this bench again revisited another question on IEBC that had also been determined by another judge of the same court, where it was turned that IEBC had quorum and can conduct by-elections. But they chose to revisit it today, quite curiously, and depart from that previous ruling of the same court and say, oh, no, now IEBC has no quorum to conduct a BBI because this is beyond a by-election. So there are serious issues arising out of this judgment, and I can't wait to see how legal minds engage in the Court of Appeal and even to the Supreme Court. But be it as it may, what we need is a conclusion to this business, because some Kenyans want constitutional amendments, some Kenyans don't want constitutional amendments. Other legal pundits argue that, and I saw these arguments coming in, that is this not too premature for the court to have intervened? Because it is talking about what IBC is going to do, if ever. And it is like the High Court was anticipating certain actions and giving orders before even those things happen. Serious legal minds, and I say this with tremendous respect because I am aware that if there is a threat of a violation of a human right or a fundamental right, the court is allowed to intervene. And I don't think this was such a threat to any violation. One would have recommended that really the best time to have gone to court is to challenge the product of BBI, so that then we are able to deal with the entire process from cradle to the grave without having to stop the train on the way, because we were at the last tail end of this process, and looking at the sovereignty of the citizens of this country, which is protected under Article 1. The judiciary, the legislature, and even the executive only exercise donated powers by the people. And therefore, one would have argued that the ultimate decision of which way BBI should have best been placed in the hands of the people under Article 1, they would have resolved this thing. And that should have been the correct time for me for judicial intervention. For now, it is somewhere in the air, and I will not be surprised if the Court of Appeal suspended that judgment and said there is no prejudice that will be served to those petitioners. If this process was concluded, the result can still be overturned without any consequence.
And perhaps the IBC has also had a backlash when we read the ruling itself, just as Council has talked about.
Yes.
And what it did, does it mean that somebody can challenge anything that IBC has done, since the High Court is talking about it was not well constituted? You know, we have also carried out, we've seen by-elections, and of course we've had some comments from some of the lawyers.
Yes, that's a quagmire that we're in, because if that judgment stands, that the IBC is not properly constituted, then somebody may dash to court and try to have relief on so many things that IBC has done. But like my Wakili friend has said, there was actually Justice Okwany's ruling on the IBC as well. And she said that the IBC is properly constituted. In fact, if you look at Article 250, which deals with the commissions, it says minimum 3, maximum 9, and they have 3. And even if you interrogate that issue of quorum using the statute, where they're saying that there are 5. If you have 5 people, it means 3 are a majority. So if these 3 concur anyway, as they are sitting, they are a majority. So the practicality of what the distinguished 5-judge bench we're talking about comes into question. So yes, people may dash to court because they have opened a floodgate, and it's only the hope that the Court of Appeal now can, with finality, decide from the 2 rulings of the High Court, Justice Okwany's and the 5-judge bench, which one stands in law. And once they do that, then it becomes easy and safe for all those people who have moved. Because someone can even move to an election petition court and say, I lost from a process which was illegal from the beginning.
Yes,
indeed. And that becomes a very serious issue.
That would also open up another kind of
another issue altogether.
But still on the same, Council, as we wind up in 30 seconds, should have the 5 judges perhaps read the mood of the country? Of course, we are on the, as you said, we are on the last stage, because looking at we have already done the counties, we've already done the signature verification, we've already done the National Assembly and also the Senate.
Yeah, they
putting
should
Kenya's interest first, right?
They should have, but there is this doctrine in judiciary that judges are supposed to employ their minds and disabuse themselves of anything happening out there. So they are blind and deaf to what is happening out here, and what they were dealing with is the material placed before them vis-a-vis the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya and the laws as enacted. So to that extent, I cannot fault the judges. In fact, they tried their best. Save for a few instances of overreach, I think the judges rendered a brilliant job. Given that this is the first time such a mountainous petition was placed before the High Court.
Indeed, unfortunately, we are out of time, but we have a lot that we can talk about. And of course, looking at the timelines, they are quite lost. Your final thought, Job, because looking at the timelines that we have, is it possible to still have that referendum? They have the Court of Appeal, and they also have the Supreme Court, which they can actually lodge a complaint after the Court of Appeal.
It's difficult because August 8th, there should be our cutoff before making amendments that can be useful for the election of next year. So yes, the referendum can happen. It may even happen during the election year. It can happen in the post-election year. But for now, I think we just have to watch the legal battles because this matter is going to reach the Supreme Court. Whoever loses the Court of Appeal is going to take a chance at the Supreme Court, and that may take us a while. So as that happens, then I think the BBI promoters will also go back to the drawing board and see what else can they be doing. They say today that they're going to go on popularizing the initiative, but they have to now mind the timelines. What is it that they want to achieve? What is it that the president and the prime minister also want to achieve? They had some legacy issues that they wanted to achieve as well before 2022. Now they may have to go back and see how else can they achieve that as we walk out the legal minefields on
so
this day.
A very busy week we're expecting next week. Indeed, thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time. Steve Mogaka, who is a constitutional lawyer, and we also have Job Ndege, who is a leadership and governance expert. Moving on to our news is that Kenya's coronavirus positivity rate now stands at 10.7% after 392 people tested positive for the disease in the last 24 hours from a sample size of 3,668 screened. The youngest patient is a 2-month-old infant, while the oldest is 95 years old. The total number of COVID-19 fatalities now stand at 2,976 after 8 new deaths were reported during a similar period.
Since March 2020, Kenya has seen the coronavirus numbers rise to 165,112. In the last 24 hours, 392 more infections were reported from 3,668 samples tested, and this pushes the viral positivity rate to 10.7%. 8 deaths have been reported between Thursday and Friday. 1 occurred within the last 1 month, and 7 are late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits. Kenya has so far lost 2,976 patients to COVID-19 disease. On Friday, 184 patients recovered from the disease, 152 from the home-based care and isolation, while 32 from various health facilities. Total recoveries are 113,432, of whom 82,450 are from home-based care and isolation, while 30,982 are from various health facilities. As of Friday, a total of 933,436 persons received the first shot of the Oxford-AstraZeneca vaccine, with the Minister of Health projecting a further delay of the second doses of the vaccine as India blocks export. The first group to be immunized in March this year was expected to take their second jab at the end of April. However, the National Task Force on COVID-19 Vaccines, Deployment and Vaccinations revised the interval period for the administration of the second dose to 12 weeks. This as the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention now says fully vaccinated people no longer need to wear a face mask or stay 6 feet away from others in most settings, whether outdoors or indoors. However, CDC Director Rochelle Walensky says fully vaccinated people should still wear masks where required by American federal, state, local, tribal or territorial laws and abide by such rules and regulations including from local businesses and workplace guidance.
If you are fully vaccinated, you can start doing the things that you had stopped doing because of the pandemic. We have all longed for this moment when we can get back to some sense of normalcy.
Purity Musil, Channel 1 News.
Elsewhere, low-key celebrations were witnessed today across the country as Muslim faithfuls marked Eid al-Fitr. In adherence to the COVID-19 health protocols in place, recreation facilities, parks and beaches remained closed to the public, forcing many to turn to indoor family celebrations. President Uhuru Kenyatta is among leaders who have sent messages of goodwill to the faithful, reminding them of being their brother's keeper throughout the season.
This is the new normal for Muslim faithful in Mombasa County. On Friday, they marked the Eid al-Fitr celebrations quietly. Police kept vigil to ensure the public had no access to the public beaches, the Mamangina Waterfront Park, as well as other recreation facilities across the county. Nothing could convince the adamant police, forcing the stranded lot to turn back and head home.
Nikija nilikuwa sijui kama tutakuwa hivi. Tumekuja tukategeshwa na polisi, wametuambia turudi. Lakini siko peke yangu, tuko watu wengi. Enyewe tumepanda gari ni fia hiyo, tumekuja hapa kurudi tena ni fia. Watoto hawajafurahia.
The current state of affairs brought by the COVID-19 pandemic has not resonated well with the locals and the business fraternity.
Mambo na kazi baharini imeharibika sasa hivi. Na sisi wananchi tunaumia, hatuna kazi. Vijana, wazee wetu pia wanateseka.
Sisi tulikubali kila kitu tuweke ikiwa sawa kupitia corona. Lakini sisi tuona sisi ndio twanyanyaswa. Watu wengine Kenya nzima wanafanya kazi, lakini sisi hatufanyi kazi.
Earlier in the day, Muslim clerics led hundreds of faithful gathered at the Ronald Ngala Primary School in morning prayers. The imams taking the chance to condemn the killings in Palestine, calling for international interventions.
Wenzetu walikuwa wanafunga mwezi wa Ramadhan huku wako chini ya mabomu na huku wakiwa wanaswali wanatupiwa masala ya mambo ya tear gas. And I think it is important sauti ya kila mmoja iweze kusikika.
Palestine hali ile si hali nzuri. Na Umoja wa Mataifa wanajua juu ya jambo hili na wanaona jambo hili. Ni wakati sasa watoe sauti yao.
It was the same script, different cast in Malindi, Kilifi County, as Muslim clerics led by Faisal Al-Modi as they condemned the Israel-Palestine war.
Amani mikononi mwetu na yoyote mwovu tumwambie kama wewe ni mkweli ni wamtetea dini kaitetee Palestina kaikomboe. Wale ndio wanaotaka kutetewa, sio sisi tulioko hapa.
Hakuna kiongozi atakao kiongozi wa dhati ikiwa hatakuwa na huruma katika jamii.
In Meru County, residents were challenged to extend a helping hand to the needy as the Muslim faithful slaughtered livestock the Eid celebrations.
COVID imeleta changamoto na watu wengi sana wamefinyiliwa upande wa kupata ajira, upande wa kupata mapato yao imepungua kidogo. Kwa hivyo ule ambaye Mungu amemwezesha anapata kidogo, unaweza kusaidia wengine, unashare tu ile ambayo uko nayo.
President Uhuru Kenyatta is among leaders who have sent messages of goodwill to the Muslim fraternity as they celebrate Eid al-Fitr. Closed-door family celebration as opposed to thronged beaches or parks recreation facilities has become the new normal. The government says it's working round the clock to restore normalcy, perhaps for future celebrations, but not today. Juni Karisa Mbele from Mombasa County for Channel 1 News.
Moving on, President Uhuru Kenyatta has sent a message of condolences to the family, relatives and friends of Stephen Njue Kirogo, who passed away today at a Nairobi hospital. Kirogo, a long-serving career public administrator, was until his death the chairperson of the Public Service Commission of Kenya. President Kenyatta eulogized the late Kirogo as a distinguished public servant. The head of state pointed out that it is through Kirogo's steadfastness and foresight, that transformational programs such as the Public Service Internship Program took off. Prior to his appointment as chairperson of the Public Service Commission, Kirogo served as the principal administrative secretary, assistant secretary to the cabinet in the Presidency and Cabinet Affairs Office since the year 2012.
Banki imeconfirm pesa zimeingia. Congratulations Sam, gari ni lako sasa.
Shukran. Oi boss, si uniache insurance yako nitumie kabla nijipange.
We,
insurance ya gari haiwezi kuwa transferred kwa mtu mwingine. Sina habari na nikuulize, hii comprehensive insurance inakava vitu gani?
Comprehensive Motor Insurance inakava gari linapoharibika wakati wa ajali pamoja na uharibifu wa mali ya mtu mwingine, gari likiibiwa au likichomeka. Pia inakava passenger wa gari lako na passenger wa lile gari lingine kunapotokea ajali.
Kwani umenisahau mimi kama driver?
Dereva hakui covered na comprehensive insurance, ila anajitafutia personal accident cover.
Umenichanua. Rose, hata nishughulikie hiyo insurance, nitakujia gari kesho.
Okay, sawa.
Yeah.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na IRA. IRA, bima bora kwa taifa.
Welcome back in sports. Ot Tanak, Thierry Nevo and Danny Sando are the latest international drivers to confirm their participation in the World Rally Championship Safari Rally set to be held next month. The three drivers will test their machines on Kenyan roads during the event to be held from the 24th to the 27th of June this year, and which will be televised live on KBC Channel 1.
Ot Tanak, Thierry Nevo and Danny Sando will compete in next month's WRC Safari Rally in Kenya. Tanak is currently teamed with Martin Javorja and is competing for Hyundai in the World Rally Championship. In the 2017-2018 seasons, Tanak finished third in the overall drivers' standings, behind rivals Thierry Nevo and Sebastian Ogier. Tanak achieved his maiden Drivers' World title in the 2019 World Rally Championship, making him the first Estonian to win the Drivers' Championship, the first non-French to win the title since Peter Solberg in 2003, and the first for Toyota since Didier Auriol in 1994. Born on 16th June 1988, Thierry Nevo is a Belgian rally driver who is competing in the World Rally Championship for Hyundai Motorsport. During his career, he has finished as runners-up in Drivers' Championship 5 times, in 2013 and from 2016 to 2019. He helped Hyundai win the first manufacturer's title in 2019, as well as repeating the feat in 2020. His current co-driver is compatriot Martin Weiderg. Danny Sando began in motocross when he was 12 years old and first drove in a World Rally Championship event at the Rally Catalunya, the Spanish round of the series, in 2003 in a Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 7, finishing 18th overall. He won the Spanish Junior Championship that year and retained the title in 2004, while also accumulating further international experience at the WRC events in Argentina, Germany, France and Spain. The WRC Safari Rally will be held from the 24th to 27th of June this year and will be televised live on KBC Channel 1.
And on that note, we wrap up Channel 1 Weekend on this Eid Day. Thank you so much for watching. I can see a lot of your comments, but unfortunately, we are out of time. But allow me to just mention too, Julius Chepkwoni was watching from Nakuru. We also have Enos, who was talking about, may the Lord comfort those who lost their kings, of course, to the many accidents. Following from Cape Ben Njue, the interview is very good and an eye-opener. That is what the interview that we had with the two gentlemen. Thank you so much. My name is Ben Njue. Lucy Mwaura has been our sign language interpreter for tonight. Remember, Sports Fun, we have a treat for you at exactly 10. Good night.
Beauty College.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika, and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET-approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 22 7428 Thika branch, 0725 000 706 Meru branch. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a TVET-approved institution.
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema, ukiletewa naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu. Usikose.
Kupata skiza tune hii curfew, dial star 811 star 816 hash.
Wewe, nitarutisha simu yako tu sahi. Nakimbia mbio, nimetolewa mbio. Unajua curfew ile nipata kwa njia. Nimepita kwa ratu pilo kama risasi kuliko hata risasi mpio. Lakini sasa hivi niko karibu nyumbani bwana. Nitakupiga nikifika nyumbani. Wewe unajua curfew sitaki polisi wanishike. Nitakupiga.
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya curfew, dial star 811 star 816 hash. Star 811 star 816 hash.
Next on.
When they told us it was cancer, they explained how they would treat it, and they told us we would be there for 6 months.
The rates of suicide, because there's a lot of suicide also when it comes to schizophrenia, is about 0 to 5%.
Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Every Saturday and Sunday, KBC rejuvenates your weekend with gospel tunes and strengthen your faith with the word. As we bring you Seventh-day Adventist Sermon, Saturdays at 10 a.m.
In the Bible, we can find answers to life's most important questions.
The Holy Mass on Sundays at 9:30 a.m.
Mwana kondoo wa Mungu aondoaye dhambi za dunia. Tazameni yeye anayetuponya magonjwa yetu yote ya mwili na ya roho.
The All Saints Cathedral at 11 a.m.
Pray that the Lord Jesus Christ may raise you to be a witness.
KBC Channel 1.
Unichukulie kwa mfano ndani ya matatu.
Unajua Saturday yaandikangu hivyo.
Ni nini wewe?
Yaani mtu mzima na miaka zake hizo miaka zote. Mtu hajui kujua kuandika note. Note tu peke yake. Kusoma kweli inasaidia.
Kijana, nini nakusumbua na mimi?
Nauliza ni ungwana.
Don't you dare insult me, okay?
Mama Angel.
Don't you dare. Okay.
Let the dead bury. They are dead, right?
but no match is easy, particularly once you get to this stage. It's all about how you approach these sorts of encounters. And whatever the situation in terms of injuries and players unavailable, that's just something you have to come to terms with. Well, he has vast experience. He's come up against Algerian sides on a number of occasions, the 71-year-old. Very well-travelled campaigner, Benzati. North African derbies. Always a challenge at the best of times. Benzati admitting, but he hopes he's done what he can to put his side in the best frame of mind to move on to the semi-finals. The third season in succession. He developed quite a rhythm of late. Played 7 games over the course of the past month. Wydad. This is a look at the knockout phase. The winner of this quarter-final tie will go on to face either Kaizer Chiefs of South Africa or Tanzania's Simba. Simba finished as winners of Group A above the defending champions Al-Ali. Al-Ali come up against Mamelodi Sundowns, a reunion for Pitso Mosimane, the Al-Ali coach, against his former sides in that one. A second Algerian club in the quarterfinals, CR Belouizdad. They go up against Tunisia's Esperance. The other of the quarterfinal ties.